All right, let's dive right in. Today we're going on a journey, but not to some far-off land. Nope, we're going deep inside your own mind, using the ancient wisdom of yoga philosophy as our guide. We're going to map out the 5 distinct states our mind can be in, from total, absolute chaos to perfect clarity.
So, have you ever had one of those days? You know the ones, where your mind feels like a wild storm just all over the place. And then the next day, it's like a perfectly calm, serene lake. Well, according to yogic texts, this isn't random at all. These are predictable states, and, understanding them is the real key to mastering your inner world.
Before we get into the nitty-gritty, we got to meet the main character of our story, and that character is Chitta. Now, think of Chitta as like the raw material of your mind. It's the total sum of everything, your consciousness, your intellect, your ego. It's the very canvas that all our mental states get painted on.
Okay, so let's start our journey at the bottom, right in the thick of it. We're talking about the most turbulent states of the mind. This is where we often feel the most stuck, caught between this raging storm of activity and just a thick, heavy fog. And first up, we have what's called Kshipta. The metaphor for this one? Oh, it's perfect. The monkey mind. I mean, just picture it. A restless monkey, literally just jumping from branch to branch, never, ever still for a second. Sound a little familiar?
So what's really going on here? What's fueling this crazy monkey? Well, the Kshipta state is powered by 2 main forces. You've got Rajas, which is this restless, fiery, gotta-do-something energy. And then you have Tamas, which is this heavy, kind of negative inertia. You mix those 2 together, and boom! You get a scattered, anxious mind where your senses are totally overwhelmed, and trying to focus is, well, it's pretty much impossible.
Now, from the absolute chaos of the monkey, the mind can swing to a completely different extreme. This is Mudha, the dull mind. And the metaphor here isn't some hyperactive animal. No, it's a burdened, stubborn donkey that has just decided it's not going anywhere.
So remember Tamas, that heavy, inert quality? Well, this state is all about Tamas. It shows up as that mental fog, that deep-seated laziness, that procrastination you just can't seem to shake. And the sources suggest this is often caused by things like a poor diet or oversleeping or just toxic habits. The result? Zero motivation and a really dimmed sense of awareness.
And looking at them side by side like this really just hits the nail on the head, doesn't it? You've got Kshipta, the monkey, with this wildly agitated energy, making you feel anxious and leading to impulsive, poor decisions. Then you have Mudha, the donkey, where the energy is so suppressed you just feel dull and lazy, and you put everything off. So really, one is a state of, I can't stop doing things, and the other is, I just can't get started.
Okay, so that was the heavy stuff. But don't worry, it's not all doom and gloom. Because after that storm and that fog, something amazing starts to happen. A turning point emerges. This next state, it's like a glimmer of hope, even if it's a little bit fleeting.
This is the state called Vikshipta, and I love the metaphor for this one, the butterfly mind. Just imagine a beautiful butterfly, right? It's flitting gracefully from one flower to the next. It's drawn to all these beautiful things, but it never, ever stays in one place for very long.
Now, the key thing to get about this Kshipta is that it's actually a huge sign of progress. A new quality is starting to show up here. It's called sattva, and it's all about purity, balance, and clarity. So you start to have these wonderful, amazing moments of focus, but then, poof, you're distracted again. It's kind of like when you're trying to meditate. You're in the zone, and then suddenly you're thinking about what to have for dinner. It's unstable, for sure, but it is a massive step up the ladder.
All right, from here on out, we're climbing. We're ascending to the higher states of consciousness. This is where real mastery begins, where we move from those fleeting moments of clarity to a deep, unshakable focus.
And that brings us to ekagra, the one-pointed mind. The metaphor here is just so powerful. It's a crane standing perfectly still, its gaze completely fixed, totally unwavering on its one single goal. This, right here, is the state of profound, deep concentration. Now, this isn't a state you just accidentally fall into. Oh no. It's something you cultivate through consistent practice, or what's known as sadhana. That practice builds the mental muscle you need for this kind of one-pointed focus. And as you get deeper into it, it starts to weaken what the yogis call the kleshas. Think of these as the mental gunk, the obstacles that cloud our perception. And when you clear that away, you start to see things as they really truly are.
And finally, we arrive, the pinnacle of our journey, Nirodha, the ultimate stillness. The metaphor is just perfect. It's a completely still lake, not a single ripple on the surface.
reflecting the sky and the world around it with absolute, perfect clarity.
This state is the very definition of yoga, as it's laid out in the famous Yoga Sutras of Patanjali. Yogas Chitta Vritti Nirodha. Yoga is the stopping of the turnings of the mind. In this state of nirodha, all those mental fluctuations, those vrittis we've been talking about, they just cease. It is a state of total control, complete liberation, and profound inner peace.
Wow. So what a journey, right? We've traveled all the way from the scattered, chaotic monkey mind to the absolute stillness of a clear lake. Let's take a second and put it all together to see the entire path laid out right in front of us.
This is such a great way to see it all at a glance. You start with the scattered monkey and the dull donkey, then you move up to that hopeful but distracted butterfly. From there, you rise to the focused, powerful crane, and finally, you can reach the complete and total stillness of the lake. And remember, this isn't just a list of random labels. This is a map. It's a map of your mind's potential.
And this right here is maybe the most important thing to remember from all of this. These states, they aren't who you are. They're not fixed personality traits. They are just temporary conditions of your mind. You absolutely have the power to climb this ladder, to move from turmoil to true transcendence. Which brings us to the real question, doesn't it? What hidden practices are going to be the ones that propel you there? Well, that is the beginning of your next journey.